Season 25 has brought many changes to the class's performance, and in this video I'll cover Crusader Thorns build for the group and solo play. Hello Fish here. Thanks to the unique soul shards, Crusaders can now drastically shift the meta and return to the 4-player leaderboards as a trash killer. The build I'm going to show you here is specifically useful only in higher tier Greater Rifts. If you are looking for an alternative area like free class to support your group, Crusader is certainly a great choice. Let's start with the skills. Since it is mostly the same good old Thorns build, our main damage dealer will be Bombardment skill with the first runed Barrels of Spikes. This skill deals massive amount of damage thanks to the two important items in our cube, Mortal Drama and Belt of the Trove, as they both increase by 500% our bombardment damage. And for extra damage output we will also need Physical Element wherever possible, Boyarsky Chip and Iron Maiden passive ability. Next skill, Steed Charge, is our mobility skill which will help Crusaders cross long distances, avoid getting stuck and buff our offensive skills for a few seconds thanks to the Norvald set, Two-Handed Flail of the Charge and Shield of the Steed. The room for this skill is up to your personal choice. You can deal Thorns damage with your horse, you can heal yourself for 15%, you can increase its duration for 3 more seconds, or choose Draw and Quarter rune to assist Barb with Pull and Trash and some elites. And with our passive ability Lord Commander, our Steed Charge and Bombardment cooldowns are respectively reduced by 25 and 35%. Moving next, our Mantra, or should I say Laws of Valor, has the best use with Critical rune that gives 50% extra critical damage to all allies, specifically trash killer monks during their fire rotation. And apart from that, this skill also increases attack speed up to 15%, which is also essential for monks to proc Flying Dragon and deal massive amount of damage to bosses, elites and trash. The duration for this law can be increased by using Long Arm of the law passive ability. This choice is optional, but this opens longer window for attack. For solo play you will need to replace this skill to Shield Glare, Divine Verdict, that blinds enemies so they take 20% more damage from our bombardment. Next skill, Acharyte's Champion with the Prophet rune, is pretty self-explanatory. It should be up at all times as this skill grants Crusaders huge armor bonus, extra life and the damage boost for our bombardment skill, which comes from the full Akan 6-piece bonus. Now for our primary gen skill, Punish, with Celerity rune that gives us extra block chance and attack speed to stack Thorns bonus damage from 2 pieces of Invoker set. This skill is used only for building Thorns damage before the physical rotation and stacking Stricken Gem if you are playing solo. And last but not least, Iron Skin with the Reflective Skin rune. This defensive ability will multiply Thorns damage by 300% for our bombardment skill. So for passive skills we need Heavenly Strength to equip Two-Handed Flail with the shield, Indestructible for extra life, which can be replaced if you're tanky enough, to Long Arm of the Law for group play, or Hold Your Ground for solo pushing, Lord Commander and Iron Maiden, which I mentioned before. Let's now talk about our gear, gems and soul shards. As this build heavily relies on Thorns damage, we do not need a lot of stats to take into consideration. All we need is area damage wherever possible, bombardment skill in shoulders, chest and possibly shield, maximum cooldown reduction, critical damage and of course Thorns in secondary rolls. For our defense, we roll all reds and place diamonds in sockets. And for this build to work properly we need 5 pieces of Akan set with the amulet, 2 invoker pieces, bracers and 1 other piece, and 2 pieces of Crimson set to buff our damage and toughness, as well as cooldown and resource reduction. For the legendary gems in a group play, Crusaders use Bane of the Trap, Zay's Stone and of course Boyarsky Chip. For solo play, Zay's Stone is replaced to Stricken Gem. Now to the fun part, soul shards. There are many different soul shards which can be useful for Crusaders, but the best use for our Thorns meta build will be Remnant of the Pain, which gives massive crit damage bonus, element with some luck being physical, Thorns damage bonus, and most importantly it grants all allies, specifically trash killer monks, an increased attack speed which can stack up to 10 times. And another soul shard for our helm is Shard of Hatred. It is relatively easy to find and roll this gem. All we need is some strength and 2 damage dealer bonuses for each enemy around. Just in case, Shard of Hatred dropped with high chance from Act 5 bosses, and Remnant of Pain drops from Act 4 bosses. For solo play, Sliver of Terror shard is the best choice as it grants 12% increased damage for every skill on cooldown. 58% total cooldown should be enough to keep Akarat's champion active and drop bombardment on every physical rotation. As for the Paragon points, all points go into movement speed and strength. 600k HP should be enough to survive, but for extra toughness you can spend 200 more points into vitality. And now the most interesting part, how to play this build in a group. This build is pretty straightforward. When the lightning rotation comes from our convention of elements, you should start building Thorns damage by using Iron Skin and attacking with Punish skill to increase Invoker stacks. And once lightning rotation is about to end, press Bombardment skill and Steed Charge to increase the damage for a few seconds and leave the combat safely. With some chance this will proc Oculus rings on the ground for the monk. Of course it depends on monk's rotation too, and he can miss the opportunity to attack from the Oculus. But before the actual damage you can buff monks with the Law of Valor, which again increases crit damage by 50% and adds extra attack speed to proc Flying Dragon and multiply damage even further. In order to know when monk is going to attack, you can rely on Barb who stomps to pixel mobs around, or you can ask monk in the voice chat when he is about to use Fire Ally, or just use third-party tools. We all know the name of that tool. For solo players, the process is almost identical. When the lightning rotation begins, start using your primary skill, Iron Skin, and then hit Bombardment, Steed Charge, and Shield Glare against the enemies you want to kill. Now for the followers, since cooldown is the key to success and because Sliver of Terror debuffs our cooldown by 25%, Enchantress is our best bet. This follower needs as much intelligence as possible to raise cooldown bonus and attack speed. You can go with any items you wish, but these 3 items, Nemesis Bracers, Oculus Ring and Flavor of Time, should always be equipped on your followers. Well, that's all for now. I hope this build guide video was helpful and informative. If you still have some questions, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching and listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more content. Have a nice day and stay safe.